Hurricane Ike struck the city of Pasadena. We lost power at the police department a couple hours before the storm actually came on shore. As a result of the power generator failing, we had to move the emergency operations center from the police department over to City Hall, which had power. The next morning, after the storm had passed, we realized the damage that we had experienced over at 901 Curtis Street. The 901 Curtis Street houses some of our telephone equipment, which is critical to the citizens being able to communicate or to reach City Hall and the police department. Shortly thereafter, this E.M.I.T.S company showed up on scene. They had been invited in as a backup system for us. We decided to set up a communication system with phones within the City Hall in the lobby. After the first day, we realized the volume of calls that we were getting and decided to add the additional phones, which we did. As of Monday night, we had something like 1,800 calls.
Typically, after the data connection comes in through the satellite or the telephone calls come in through the satellite, the first thing that hits the router. The router then throws it into a switch, which is a network switch, which then hits the V36 switch. It's then translated from the V36 switch back into the hub switch and router, and then it goes from this single cable into the building, which is connected to another switch like this, and then every one of the phones are connected to this. So really, this is all we need to do to set up a new EOC, Emergency Operations Center, or network for hotlines. If a Pasadena resident was to dial one of the telephone numbers like the City Hall or the hotlines is being provided through this station, what would happen is AT&T has those numbers actually forwarded to our offices in Wheeling, West Virginia, which is being manned 24/7 because of the disaster. And from there, it will relocate or be rerouted through our phone switches to a satellite uplink, which then gets beamed back down to this vehicle, which hits the telephone switch in here, does all the translation, and sends it to the phone bank, which is located inside. The delay on this is better than if you picked up your cell phone and called another cell phone while you're standing next to each other. You'll get more of a delay out of that than you will out of this system. The system automatically compensates for network errors, drop packets and everything, which allows it to make a fairly fast telephone call with very little delay.
E.M.I.T.S has been tremendous in being able to provide this telephone service for us. We're now using citizen volunteers. We're using the Citizen Police Academy volunteers, as well as the City of Pasadena Volunteer Pasadena program to help man those phones where we can put the other city employees back on their normal job duties.
Well, we've been getting calls for sanitation department, trash pickup, police department, just all kinds of help that people need. I just feel like I can get back to the city that I've been living in all my life, and it just gives me pleasure.
I encourage the citizens, until we get our phone system back to the normal service that we should have, that if you have an emergency, call 911. If it's a non-emergency, call this 866 number, which is 866-357-8099.